Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I'm your host, GameChanger. Okay, so it's no secret that there is a difference in the relationships between black men and black women versus black women and white men. The type of women that they go for is a lot different. And also, the way the woman treats the man is a lot different, meaning, like divorce rates and things like that. There is definitely a reason behind that we're going to get into on the show. But before I do that, I want to give an example of this. So, in the Tia and Tamari situation, you have one of them who married twins, one of whom married a white guy, the other married a black guy. The one that married a black guy seemed to be on something, let's just call it different, even though it's far more common and she was influenced by modern black society, but she's on something different. While the other, she's on something more traditional. She's the cook, clean, and have the babies, the child rearing. She's the typical, modern housewife, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Plus, both of whom were, they had their V card when they met their husbands, hit the like button. But as we all know, the behavior and personality of the one that married a black one, even though they were raised the same, they look the same, they grew up the same, they have the same career. Even with all of those similarities, the way they treat their husband is entirely, or, graduate from their husband is entirely different. And the differences in the husbands are really primarily racial, they're ethnic differences. So definitely we're going to explore what that is. But before I get into that, I want to talk about something called the paradox of choice. Now, what is the paradox of choice? Well, basically, it states that if a person has, or people have too many choices or options, then they wind up not picking anything or delaying their selection for quite a significant amount of time. So, for example, if I were to say something like, who looks better, old school Halle Berry or old school Layla Rashad, that's an easy, for many, that's an easy answer. It's like, okay, I pick one or the other. However, if you were to throw, let's just say, I don't know, 80 other women in there, all of them like Paula Patton, all of them attractive. Then Pam Grier, you just start throwing it in there and they say you can only pick one. You only have one that you can pick. Then you're sitting there and you're like, okay, wait a minute, wait a minute. If I pick this one, then I'll be losing out on this one. But that booty though, but those lips, you become stagnant. There is a such thing as too many options, especially when it comes to something as important as picking a mate for life. It's very difficult. I mean, and since human beings aren't really ranked as, best or worst, I mean, we all have tough decisions in life. Should I go to the Ivy League, or, should I go to HBCU? Should I work for this company or this company? These, though difficult decisions, they're very few, meaning you only get accepted into few colleges, very few people. Well, I mean, few colleges that you actually have to pick between the two. I mean, if you are accepted by 800 junior colleges and Harvard, I think that's pretty much an obvious choice. So, yeah, we want to study like how this is affecting relationships, particularly online relationships, and how it's affecting the interaction between black men and black women, as well as white men and black women. So we're definitely going to get into this. Hit the like button. Now, I'm not going to do a short of the day today because I'm just not. I'm just not. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon and I want to get this done. So, but I am here for you and we're definitely going to do this. So, I'm going to have somebody further explain what it is. This is a short video, and then I'll go over the comments, and then we can definitely get into the topic at hand. So, Hit the like button for me. All right.
Rare these days to find any person below 40 who hasn't heard of Tinder. But in case you don't know what I'm talking about, Tinder is a dating app that allows the user to find a potential partner, friendship, or one-time hookup. The latter is what it's predominantly used for. All you have to do is sign up for a profile using one of your social media accounts, choose your best pictures, and set some basic filters. You'll then be presented with numerous profiles that fall within your desired parameters. All you have to do is swipe left or right. If you're interested in the person and want to chat to them, swipe right. If you're not interested, then swipe left. You keep doing this until your thumb becomes sore. If a person you swipe right on happens to swipe right on your profile as well, then you'll both be allowed to converse with each other. Generally, people tend to message back and forth for a few days before they mutually decide to meet up in person. It's that simple. Now, while this may seem like a novel way to meet people in a world that is getting more and more individualistic, the rise of Tinder and other dating apps have brought about some peculiar psychological drawbacks. In fact, they could also be doing more harm than good. Let's imagine that you've met someone on Tinder who seems like they'll be a perfect match. You decide to meet up, and after an introductory conversation, find out that you've both got a lot in common. It's an ideal situation to find yourself in. You then make plans to meet up again and see where these future encounters lead to. Maybe something deeper than a one-night stand. However, with
Okay. So right now he's explaining how Tinder works, and we all know that it's really just a quick overview of how it works. He did throw something in there that people don't really say, but it is mostly a hookup app. Now, hookup would be a win-win for men. I really don't know why women would need hookup, or excuse me, need an app for hookup. They need only just make themselves available to whomever they want to hook up with. There really isn't a need for an app for that. But so that leads us to the question of why are they on there? If they don't need an app for a hookup, why are they using the app? And we're going to get into that.
each rendezvous, you begin to notice small flaws in your date. Perhaps there's a small hair on his ear that sticks out rather obtrusively, or maybe her smile is a bit crooked. It's nothing serious, but it gradually begins to gnaw at you, and so do other imperfections with time. So your mind begins to drift back to Tinder. It dawns on you that there are plenty of other profiles you haven't swiped through yet. Yes, the person sitting in front of you seems interesting enough, but maybe there's someone else out there who's better, someone who's flawless in every imaginable way. It's a nagging prospect that keeps your mind preoccupied. This is what is known as the paradox of choice, a term coined by American psychologist Barry Schwartz. The paradox of choice is an affliction that plagues our modern societies due to an overabundance of choice. It can be best described by a trip to a shopping mall for a pair of jeans. After finding a pair that appears to fit well and falls within your price range, you still continue to peruse through other brand names and styles so that you can find the absolute perfect pair. It's an exhausting endeavor and one that is also time consuming. But for people who want to maximize on their potential to make the best choice possible, their shopping habits spill over onto their relationship decision making. Schwartz writes that there may be nothing wrong with their current partners, but maximizers will always obsess over the what ifs.
Okay, so there you have it. Now, what he's missing here is that having an abundance of options is going to make you a maximizer. It's going to make a person who, if given a circumstance, and there were only one pair of jeans, that person is really just kind of relegated to being a minimizer. But having an enormous selection of anything is going to make you a maximizer. Like if you were given, I don't know, $2 million in total to buy a home, you now have the option of so many different homes, and you become more fickle, and you start looking into the details, the schools. Even though you don't have kids, you really just you want to meet the neighbors and everything. Because you have so many options, you now have a greater responsibility, and you have a greater burden to not pick the incorrect option. Hit the like button. Now, are we seeing how this is applying to dating?
On the opposite end of the spectrum lies so-called satisficers. Schwartz argues that satisficers are able to be satisfied with their decisions and choices. This doesn't mean that they opt to settle on the first option that comes their way, but instead they make well thought out choices and don't spend time wondering if the grass is really greener on the other side. And this makes perfect sense. If you spend your time waiting for the ideal partner, you might just end up alone. This is because the likelihood of meeting someone better suited for you will always exist. In the meantime, you'll pass up several opportunities to be with the person you could be truly content with. It's only been recent in our human existence that we have the luxury of so much choice. Things were quite different for our cave dwelling ancestors. Early Homo sapiens most likely traversed the world in groups no larger than 40, and in their entire lifespan, they probably encountered only about 150 or so like them. The opportunities for reproduction were strikingly different from us today. But you don't have to go back that far in time to realize that things have changed for us quite drastically in only a short period. A team of sociologists found that in 1932, one-third of married couples had previously lived within 5 blocks of each other. Most surprisingly, one-eighth of these married couples had lived in the same building before they established a relationship together. With that said, according to psychologist Wendy Walsh, it's easy to understand why we're not programmed to be exposed to so many sexual opportunities.
So basically, what he's saying is that when people had fewer options and fewer convenient options, they were more likely to get together. So large number of options mean less likely to get together. Smaller number of options means that there's a more likelihood of getting together.
Instead, we're wired to be excited about a new sexual encounter because it used to be so rare. Put these two together with modern online dating, and we witness an uncontrollable impulse to pursue the possibility of several sexual partners. You can draw a similar comparison with our evolutionary desire for sugary foods. We crave everything from chocolate to candy because of our physiological association of sweetness with high energy foods. It's definitely something that helped our ancestors survive in the past, but today contributes towards an unhealthy diet thanks to our overconsumption of sugar. So we now know that apps like Tinder can be detrimental to our overall well-being, but that doesn't give us a solution for our ever-increasing isolated existence. Dating apps exist for a reason because they fill an important void left behind by our modern societies that have us shuttle back and forth between work and home with little time left for healthy social interactions. We don't get out often and additionally spend way too much time online. To succeed in the sphere of online dating, it's important that we first recognize the effect these apps have on us. We then need to use time in the most constructive way possible. If you use Tinder for its primary purpose, which is to engage in a brief physical relationship, then do so knowingly. On the other hand, if you're seeking something more serious, then clearly state your intentions. And when on dates, focus on the person in front of you and accept that there's no such thing as a perfect partner. But if you find yourself constantly on your phone or your mind always preoccupied on your next potential match, then do yourself a favor and delete the app, at least for a while. Take the time to first foster healthy interactions with the people around you and allow your mind to be centered in its immediate environment. Who knows, you might just notice that one friendly face that could be right in front of you.
Okay. So now we know what it is. Now we know what the paradox of choice is and how it's affecting society. The what's going on with that. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. We're going to go deeper into it. All right. So now that we got that out the way, I want to explore more about how this affects the relationships. Well, Black men are addicted to hollering. We love to holla at women. And this isn't a dating app thing. This has been something that's been going on, since before dating apps. We've been over aggressively pursuing women. Even when it's clear that she has no intention or desire towards us, we just make it a point to shoot her shot all the time. No matter how many times we get shot down. There was a young brother who looks mixed or something, and he was explaining yeah, you should keep shooting your shot. You should keep, not really realizing or caring what it's doing to the woman, what it's doing to her psyche, and how he's making it difficult, how they're making it more difficult all around for black men in general. Hit the like button. So on that, you have a group of men who have made themselves overly available, putting women in the paradox of choice. They know that they can easily have a black man. Oh, excuse me. My mistake. I had some technical difficulties. They know that they have pretty much the option to be with any black man that they want, or they have a large number of black men, just filling up their interest to the point where they're overwhelmed and they become naturally just put off. They become naturally put off and naturally just, okay, I'm disinterested because I'm overwhelmed. And then you have to look at which group of men is the least available to which group of women, to understand how women act when they don't have this paradox of choice. Now, I'm going to throw this out there. White men simply don't want black women like that. They just don't. For a number of justifiable reasons, but and some unjustifiable reasons, of course, but really it's mostly justifiable reasons. Excuse me. Now, what this means is that the paradox of choice do not apply to black women, white men relationships. Hit the like button. I'm going to go deep into this. It doesn't really apply. It's not the same. It doesn't compute with that. It's not part of what's going on there. So as a result, those relationships are rarer, read more valuable. I'm going to repeat that. As a result, those relationships are rarer, which makes them more valuable. And because they are rare, the drive to keep those relationships going for black women is far greater. They're like, okay, I'm not going to find this pairing again. He is one of the few that is interested in a woman like myself. Therefore, I am going to work harder to get it to work. I don't have many choices. And if you're wondering why the standards seem a lot different, it's because it's rare. They have a number of black men who are prettier than they are handsome, probably even successful. They have a number of choice black men choosing them, but they have very few white men in general, choice or not, choosing them. And that is why that option seems more appealing to so many different black women. That's why they work a little bit harder to see that the relationship sustains. And that's why they become a little bit more compromising, or a lot more compromising, in choosing a mate in that regard. I mean, that combined with the just general desire to make black men jealous, y'all know the thinking, y'all know the mentality. They turn up the PDA when they see you and they're in their interracial relationship. We all know about that part. But that is a real thing. So Shay Sade did a video recently that discusses this, and we're going to discuss it too. So here. But before I do that, before I get into that, let me just read the comments. All right. Say what's up. Chris G, salute. Melissa, peace, love. Nango, peace to you. And Educate Tyrone, salute. She hates me. Peace, what up? All right. So let's get into it. Let me just go to Shay Sade's video. I actually haven't seen this, but I've seen the title and I am curious, so I thought I'd share it with y'all. So here we go. It says, why black women trust and submit to white men. Now, I just gave my theory. I want to see how much it matches her theory. And really, my theory is, in a nutshell, wanting more and valuing more what you can't have. And perhaps black men, we should stop making ourselves as available. We made ourselves too available to where women no longer value us as they did in the past. Just saying.
Black American women have a really bad reputation in the relationship and dating market. Stereotypes say that we're hyper masculine, that we have bad attitudes, that we can't get a man, that we don't need a man, and so on. And honestly, many of you guys who are either in relationships with Black women or have dated Black women in the past can attest to the fact that some of us have just really stank attitudes. Now, of course, we know this is not every Black American woman, and there are plenty out there who are currently today enjoying healthy and thriving relationships. But we also have to be honest about the many Black women out there who unfortunately do fall into that category. But another thing that I've also heard is that while Black women might be aggressive or might have attitudes that can come off of hypermasculine and particularly have a hard time getting along with Black men, they tend to be more feminine when a white man comes in the room. I've heard this a lot from some of y'all. And so I posed a question and I asked whether or not Black women find it easier to submit to white men instead of Black men. And that's what we're going to go over today. I want to look at some of your guys' response and then we'll break it down. Looking at the tweet, it says Black women find it easier to submit to white men instead of Black men. True or false? So let's look at some of the most popular tweets first. This one over here, it says, unfortunately, Black men find the same level of ease with submitting to white men. Okay, so she just went in shots fired.
Okay. And this is what they do. They try to hetero shame you or whatever you want to call it. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. I mean, this is their tactic of trying to shame you into wanting them.
This is honestly something I do notice about the lovely ladies is as soon as something is said or we are shown in an unfavorable light, our immediate response is to say, well, Black men do it too. So notice in this response, she did not question or she did not push back or even deny the statement. She just went on to deflect about what Black men are doing. And the focus here wasn't what Black men are doing. The focus here was Black women. But anyways, that's besides the point. Looks like she had a lot of feedback. This one says, shout out to Malarkey, says, I think a woman like this has a vested interest in the oppression of Black men as it saves her the trouble of answering an inconvenient question. That's literally what I said. I was like, the focus here was not Black men. It was what Black women are doing and what that means. It says she carefully deflects from the question by baiting Black men into an argument that attacks their egos and self-respect. Shout out to Malarkey, a loyal follower for quite some time now, and I can't even disagree. Like there are some crazy things that Black men do, and there are some self-hating Black men out there, but that was not the focus of this particular tweet. The focus of this tweet is women's behavior, what we are doing and what we are not doing. That was it. So yeah, I spot on there. So this one says, it's unfortunate that you feel that way. If pointing out that Black men need to stand up and refrain from being submissive to white men makes me Nazi, then deem me as the further. I'll take that viewer. I'll take that women like you are handing out participation.
I have no idea what she's talking about, by the way, when she's saying that Black men being submissive to white men, because we're talking about in functional households. I mean, this. Okay, I know what she's trying to do. This goes into the whole, we don't have to submit to you because y'all don't rule the world. Then if that's the case, then you just leave them all together. I mean, a person with that particular mentality is looking for an excuse to not submit. They're never going to submit. So don't waste your time even speaking to a person like that. Just walk away if you ever meet a person like this in real life. Just walk away, because what the ultimate goal of the conversation that she's trying to obtain is for you to say, oh, you know something, I don't deserve submission. I'm going to put up with your crap. That's the ultimate goal. That's never going to happen, at least not with me. Just walk away.
words to black men instead of emboldening them to rise up. Crazy. So her pushback, Takara's pushback is that nah, like we need to empower men to rise up, not sit there and cater to them. Have malarkey and not having it. Just look. But she tells herself as well as answering the question at hand by indirectly stating that the Black American women are at ease submitting to white men. Next time, answer the question and leave the brothers alone. She's like, I'm pretty sure I did answer that question. It's in the thread. So this one right here, I want to read. It says, unfortunately, it's not just the coons. No other group of men are this dependent on white men for everything. In large, black men won't even establish anything to use as leverage to elevate our people. White men sleep peacefully at night, knowing that regardless of what they do, black men will be loyal subjects. And so, anyways,
Sergeant Willie P, he really dropped the ball on this because he gave them this foolishness. I mean, he now realizes that it is foolishness, this whole build and maintain, blah, 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 blah. They wasn't even thinking that until Sergeant Willie P came out with that. And now they're like, oh, yeah, I can use this to make black men feel guilty and put up with our crap. But we're never going to actually submit, nor are we ever going to facilitate in them actually gaining power, because it would put us in a situation that we would have to submit. They're not going to submit to you because they can get away with not submitting to you. Whatever excuse they give is an excuse to something that they already don't want to do. It's like trying to get a kid to eat broccoli. And then that kid in turn tells you like, oh, why do I have to eat broccoli when you don't own your own farm? And then having the adult foolishly say, well, I guess until I own my own vegetable farm, it's not right for me to demand that my kids eat vegetables. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. SWP, you really opened Pandora's box with that into a whole new level of foolishness that the rest of the world has to put up with.
y'all going back and forth. This is a classic pushback that I hear from black women. We heard this from Chrissy, the video I did a few weeks ago, where she was talking about black men have not built anything. This is why black women should not be mad at white women for voting for Trump. They need to be mad at black men for not building a better system. Classic pushback. So shout out to Takara for basically representing the sisterhood on this one, really. The challenge that I have with this is basically if you are calling for nationalism, if you're pushing for black nationalism, which is essentially what you are doing, the building of a nation, that you can't do that. You can't want black men to build a nation or quote unquote a Wakanda while at the same time submitting to a nation or submitting to authority that is going to be antithetical to that goal. Because if you
They don't want you, Shay Sade, they do not want you to build a nation. I repeat, they do not want you to build a nation. One more time. They do not want you to build a nation. Women in general has never been more comfortable in any nation in the history of vaginas than they have been in modern Western nations. Between the ancient Chinese that bound women's feet and the Africans that circumcised their clitoris, they have never had it so much better. They don't want to risk a new regime because the thinking is that the new regime is going to be, less gynocratic than this current one. You got no fault divorce. You got all this. They're not going to get it better. And they don't want to risk that. And it's not about blackness, it's about womanness. They feel that they would suffer as a woman under a black-led society. They're not going to go for that. Now, they're going to shame you for not having one, but they don't want you to have one.
believe that black women are just going to go away and just build this whole system while black women are sitting there comfortably, submitting to white people, submitting to white men, submitting to white systems, submitting to white authority. And then as soon as Wakanda is built, ready to go, black men are just going to leave and then all of a sudden submit to black men. Like, it doesn't work like that. That is not reality.
This is
It
true.
actually requires a collaborating. And the thing about it is when the emphasis is put in, when the entire
Wait a minute. I know this is like AI generated, but why does she have 7 fingers? Am I tripping? Fellas, ladies, let me. One, two, three, four, five, six, and that looked like a nub or something there. Now, as much as I like to receive a HJ from a woman who looks like that with 7 fingers, I'm a little taken back. I'm a little taken back. So people who think that their jobs are being threatened by AI, I don't know, because they seem to get things wrong majorly from time to time. Things like how many fingers a human being has.
pressure is put on black men to build, fine. I do think black men would have to be responsible in leading that charge. That does not excuse black women from the part that they play in that process. And I think what happens is black we'll have these conversations and we're conveniently looking for excuses to not take responsibility for the things that we're doing. We want to push all the blame and say, well, basically we have to do this because black men aren't doing anything. Okay, but that basically removes the responsibility that we may have as black women to do that. Because my thing is like, okay, if you're so concerned about this, are you involved in are you involved in Pan African spaces? Are you connected with men who are building establishments?
That's a bad question. That's a bad question, Shay Sade, because they are involved. The women that do this, they are involved in Pan African spaces, not because they actually want Wakanda built. That's not what they're there for. They're there to find men that they can use these tactics of manipulation to. They're there to find gynocentric men that they can control. Period. And they're also looking for men that they don't have the paradox of choice with. You don't have the paradox of choice with men who are in these Pan African spaces. Why? Because they chose to limit themselves to 13% of the female population. So they're not going to be inundated, and this is a very inactive or irresponsive female population. So they're not going to be inundated with selection. You're not going to, in the Pan African spaces, you're not going to find a group of men who are just drenching with choices, like a passport bro or a guy that just dates interracially or something. You're not going to find that particular type of man in Pan African spaces. And I know that there are black men who do very well with black women. Those guys tend to be not Pan African. Those guys tend to be exceptional in other ways. If you don't believe me, where are the women who are flocking towards Dr. Umar Johnson? Let's start there. Where are the women who are just, Umar, you so fine, you so where are those? Where are the ones that are flocking to O'Shea Duke Jackson? Now, some can argue Tariq Nasheed, but once again, he was successful in another way, and he is not exclusive to black women. So, just to be clear, they are going looking for thirsty men who are dedicated to them. Point blank, period. All of the male haters were once Pan-African women who are disappointed in their choices. Because when they went to the Pan-African spaces and they seen nothing but niggas that look like Umar and O'Shea, they were disappointed. And they have been venting their frustrations about that ever since. Hit the like button. Spit knowledge.
who are building businesses, who are building industries, who are doing things internationally? Are you connected with that? Because best believe they do exist. They may not have the notoriety, they may not have as much funding. They're doing things grassroots, and so it's not going to be featured maybe on Forbes under 40, or Forbes 30 under 30. Like, it's not going to be in the headlines, but it is out there, and it's happening every single day. But if you're not in those spaces, and if you're not collaborating with those men, whether and the way that you can, whether it's helping to volunteer, whether it's helping to, whether it's just providing a safe space for them to land, whether it's
Or just getting them a sandwich.
just believing in them, encouraging them. Like, if you're not doing your part as a woman to those men who have that mindset and are doing their part to try to look ahead, then to me it starts to sound like a convenient excuse. And I think that's why Malarkey wasn't having it. Malarkey was like, nah, this is just answer the question next time and don't throw black men under the bus. Because really, at the end of the day, if there is a desire to want to build a nation, then that's going to require the efforts of black men and black women. I'm not saying that they have to all do the same thing, but that means they have to share the same mindset. And if black women really want to enjoy the spoils of the white community and of the white system and society, that's fine. But then just do that. Don't don't do that and then try to blame black men. Just acknowledge
Well said. Well said.
that you really like the current system you're in and you don't want anything from
Well said. Well said. I mean, they like the current system that they're in, but what they don't like is that their place in the system, though more comfortable than they have ever had before in the history of black women, is still less comfortable than white women, and that's because they have less access to those who are the face and the embodiment of the system, the ones who created the system. They have less access to them. And one of the main reasons that they have less access to them is because, like, you haven't produced men that has created a similar system. And because you treat your men like crap, and I don't want my son to be treated like crap by anybody, I'm going to stay away from you unless it is absolutely positively to my advantage. Why would you want to have a son who is treated the way you treat black men? So that's why they come with this justification. Like, okay, we treat black men this way because they deserve it somehow, but white men, by and large, aren't falling for it. The only ones that are falling for it is old school Sergeant Willie P and other, simple-minded Pan Africans. Hit the like button.
black men. Right? Like, don't justify your desire for acceptance within white society by trying to blame black men. That's where I think it gets really catchy. But now, at least she did actually acknowledge it's a hell alliance, because I'm like, that's just not true at all. Like, it's just a blatant lie. They are prime examples of brothers who are doing literally what black women say that they want to be done. But that requires some sacrifice and some changes. So, anyway, so I thought that was an interesting comment. Let's move on to some of the next things. Another popular comment: I don't think they submit, but they're deaf. So this one says, I don't think they submit, but they're definitely more feminine. And so now that's the interesting one. I asked, okay,
Um, Part of being feminine is submission or the desire to do so. I don't really see how you can have one without the other. I really don't. So I'm curious to know where this person was going with that, but it's like, yeah, they're I mean, it's kind of like saying, he's masculine, but he's not a leader, or he don't have the desire to lead. I don't know. So, because that's really a key component of it.
hey, how do you define more feminine? And my question would be, I wonder why. If the idea is they're more feminine, is it coming from a place of respect, or is it coming from a place of fear of this person
It's
literally
coming from a
has
place of
power
scarcity.
over me institutionally? They have we understand in the social hierarchy that white men rank higher, and if that demands a level of respect. So I'm wondering if that's what he's talking about, because I do think black women like to say that they're most oppressed, under the Duluth model and all that, and intersectionality. Even if they say that, I think subconsciously black women know that at the end of the day they have some power or some institutional authority over black men. whether it be the educational
Ah,
realm,
she
family
killed it with that.
courts, intimate partner violence, the propaganda around that, and just criminal justice in general, even if they don't say it.
Yeah. So basically, they like having an authority to appeal to, a greater authority to appeal to, not just black men's. They want to keep the black man, but they want to be able to call somebody else on them. I mean, it's kind of like we have three branches of government. You know, like if you don't like one branch, you can appeal to the other branches to override that one. So one group will never have too much power. That's kind of what they're looking for.
I think black women in their subconscious know that they have some institutional leverage over black men, even if they don't necessarily admit it. And so that might be a reason why some just don't respect them, because they feel like we have this upper hand over you. Whereas white men,
Good point.
again, consciously or subconsciously, black women know that there's a social hierarchy and that where they rank. And so I wonder if that has something to do with it. So, anyways, those are just some thoughts. There's more here. I didn't want to get too deep. If you guys want to check out rest of the feedback, you can go and check out the tweet. Anyways, those are my thoughts. What do y'all think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening. If you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later.
Okay. Oh, all right. Actually, let me Shay Sade has a kids book, so let me give her a chance to, for those of you with kids or those of you who are just curious about the books, I am going to pick up a copy myself. I didn't know she had this, so let me play this.
Learns to love her hair. Aisha's hair is stunning, but she struggles to see its beauty. Through encouragement and wisdom from Grandma Lily, Aisha learns powerful lessons about self acceptance. Aisha's journey is a heartwarming tale of family, culture, and confidence. Share her magical journey with your little loved one today, available for purchase.
Okay. Seems like that's going to be a lot better than the Book of Obsidian. I will say this. A lot of black women confuse natural with unkept. Like, ooh, I wear my hair natural, but it's just like a mesh, and it looks like they just woke up and put vinegar in their head, and then say stuff. Hold on. It looks like they just woke up and put vinegar in their head and walked out the house. And that is like, ooh, I'm natural. It's like, no, that's not a good natural. That's not. Looking like an Oompa Loompa hairdo is not a good natural. Shay Sade has what's called a good natural, though it's chemically and or excuse me, though it's not chemically induced or altered, and it's not synthetically altered in any way. It's still groomed. She's still properly groomed, and I hope that in this book she makes that distinction, because this, I woke up like this, juices and berries, and they took that the wrong way and just poured some apple juice in their damn head and there's flies circling it, like that's not hot. That's not hot. Exactly. Like, listen, at least, comb it out or have it to a nice mesh. Don't have it look like a dirty tennis ball. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. So if you're going to do the real hair thing, hit the like button, do it right. Somebody said Aisha learns to wash her hair. I'm going to get the book. Because I know Shay Sade and I know Shay Sade's hair. So I know that she got that right. I know that she got that part right. So I know that that's the image that she's going to put out there. All right. Let's see. Somebody said something. It says, why would you care if you guys find us ugly? Well, we only care about the ones that we don't find ugly. So I'll respond with that. Checks and balances. Absolutely. Absolutely. They like this situation of hostility between black men and white men because it breeds checks and balances. They can always go to the opposing side. They're playing two sides against them, basically. Against each other. It reminds me of the Native Americans during the Civil War. and during the American Revolution, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These were prime times for, and trust me, this is an understatement because throughout the written portion of Native American history, they had very few prime times. But yet, it was to their advantage when white folks were fighting each other. And they did, and so did black people. They did use that to their advantage. Like, oh, you want to fight each other? Oh, you want me to pick up a rifle? Well, this is what I want. And that's why we are free today. That's all it takes, is two opposing sides, going at it for each other for you to take stuff. For you as a minority or an underclass, second class citizen or whatever you want to call it, that is an opportunity for you to gain. Native Americans was like, oh, American Civil War? Okay. Oh, you want my arrows? You want my horses? You want my land navigation? Okay. What have you done for me lately? Like, that is when they have the opportunity to say that. It wasn't until everything was settled for white people. It's like, okay, so we beat the British, the Union won the Civil War. Now let's look at them engines. And then that is when you started to see the expansion from sea to shining sea, as opposed to just the East Coast 13 colonies. That's when you started to see, it's like, okay, now we're going to move in because now we are one. See, Black women don't want to see that. They don't want to see the dust settles between, so they're always going to, and that's why they are in the Pan-African groups. They're always going to push for this division. I mean, that, and they want Black men to want something that they can only gain through them, which is a Black nation. They can only gain that through Black women. So they're like, okay, that's my leverage, and I don't have to do my damn hair, as long as I am the only people that can give them a Black nation. So they're going to push that narrative. I'm sick of it. Leave that for the O'Sheas of the world. Okay. Checks and balances. The best relationships are with non-Black men. Then you should be in one. You should be in one. I say go for it. Do they find you beautiful? Because statistically, they don't. Just saying. Hey, Zed, still hating Black men while not getting any man. Yeah. Okay, so you said what I was thinking. Now, I think everybody was thinking that. It's like, by all means, get one. I've seen white men marry all kinds of women, and I've seen Black men marry all kinds of Black women. What's your point? I mean, really, what's your point? See, I want you to notice this. None of her comments are going to be to the effect of, we're good women who deserve good men. It's why you should settle for us subpar women. The thing is that when we date white, they love our kinky natural hair. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. Shay Sade is married to a Black woman, and she wrote the book literally on natural hair. So yeah, let's not do that. Zed the Troll has returned. Yeah, I think this is her first time here. Let's see. Zed, you ain't dating anyone at 50. Okay, so she's one of those dry vagina women. The perimenopausal women whose vagina has diminished in both elasticity as well as moisture. Not only has her vagina, let's just say, atrophied, her ability to give pleasure, sexual pleasure, to a man has diminished, as well as to give children to a man has diminished, and she somehow blames Black men for this. Okay. Whatever. Let's see. So you see, stop. I thought I told you that. I won't stop. All right. It says, tell them to get oil in it. Zed, okay. Talking about the hair. I am not dating anyone black at 50. Okay. I mean, what are you dating? What are you dating? And have you gotten someone or somebody to settle at that? Aisha learns to wash her hair. Okay. Y'all code. They got the Don King treatment. All right. Learns to comb them naps. Yeah. I read Obsidian book. I think you mean Obsidian's book. It's a good book, Game Changer. Okay. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Chaos. Nobody read that crap, and least of all you. Listen, just because I can't prove somebody's lying, don't mean I don't know that they lying. You're lying. You didn't read that crap. You just said that you did to make yourself seem more illiterate and endear yourself to Obsidian. But the truth of the matter is, you didn't read that crap, and you know it. Okay? Not going to dignify this with a response other than the one I just gave. That is an undignified statement. You did not read Obsidian's book. No one would waste their life like that. Sided with the Union and scum rebels. I'm not sure if you're talking about the blacks or Native Americans. Okay, the Revolutionary War too. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you know, didn't I mention the Revolutionary War? Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, they're taking advantage of the division. And hey, you want to know what happened to those ones that joined the Revolutionary Army? They're free now. At least their descendants are. I mean, that's you fight and you get freedom. They seen this as an opportunity. If I'm sitting on a field picking some tobacco and then somebody says, you know, hey, you know, I give you freedom if you fight, then I'm gonna fight. Like that's, I mean, you know, it's like, ooh, I've been waiting for this. You know, I've been waiting for this my whole life. She's 50 and nuts, and yeah, well, if she was sucking nuts in her 20s, then perhaps she wouldn't be in this predicament. She got nobody, white or black. Yeah, of course. That's in, you know, there's a lot of women in this particular predicament, and that's due largely to the paradox of choice, which I was talking about. But they want to blame black men because it's always Jermaine's fault. Shout out to Chantel. Only very few, only 3% of married white men marry black women. Never going to change. No, of course it's not. Because what black women are asking is, I have never supported a man who has built a significant system. Now, I want you to turn your back on the women who did build a significant system to get with a woman who didn't build it. That's what they're saying. That is a completely lost cause. It's like, I want you to turn your back on the women that help you conquer the world. For us, because of WAP. That's how stupid they sound. All right, they hate the loser love. How easy Keisha is. She'll drop her draws for a snake. Yeah, and they don't even let her do that half the time. Bitter old hag equals egg. Yeah, okay. There's really not much there to talk about. Okay, it says yes. I did not all of it. Damn it. Damn it, chaos. Yes, I did not all of it. I got one book and I got the third book, Stop Hating. Well, I did not all of you, but no, you didn't read the book. You did not read a significant amount of any of these books, Chaos. You got to understand something. It's very difficult to lie to me, so why try? You didn't read the book and you didn't think it was good. You didn't read the book and you didn't think it was good. Stop lying. I don't even think you bought it. I don't think you even bought any of the books. Once again, I think you're lying to advertise to Obsidian's crappy book and to appear more literate. Answer me this. What other similar books have you read to Obsidian's? And how does his book compare to those? Answer me that. Answer me. Zed, how that simp Charles, he's still lying and respecting black women while not being married. I don't know who's Charles. Okay, y'all back and forth on it. Okay, so there's another video I wanted to watch with Chrissy, who is a spawn of, Sergeant Willie P's mistakes. He's a good brother, but that he just made a devastating mistake. Okay. Let's see. Men, fathers naturally have some level of disgust for women that only date outside. Yeah, of course. But not only that, why would you put your son in that particular predicament? Like, who would want to curse their sons that way? That's what it really boils down to. And if you follow the history of blacks in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, they faced a lot of racism with segregational policies still having a negative effect on ancestral blacks who never left. I don't disagree with that. I don't see like what prompted the subject unless you're talking to Yo Joe. Oh, really? You want to bet on that? Well, answer the question. What similar book have you recently read? And what are some of the similarities and differences? Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's have a literate discussion about, the books that you have read that has compared to the Book of Obsidian. Let's go there. Notice that there's no response. And the reason why, and this isn't me thumping on Chaos, but Chaos, you just can't come and lie. You just can't come and lie. You just can't come and say, I read the book and it was good. No, stop. I call cap. So now I'm pulling the card. And yeah, let's have a conversation about it. Because you see, this is where stuff breaks down. This is like you get that junior high kid that's a virgin, but saying he's not a virgin. So, you just ask him a couple of questions about his sexual experience and, and it winds up nowhere. It winds up nowhere. Okay. And then here's the strange response. I can't respond back and forth on a chat room. That's literally what you are. You're doing that while responding back and forth in a chat room. No, the truth of the matter is you didn't read the book, likely because it sucks. Didn't Pearl Bailey marry a bum Brad who abused and took her? I don't know who Pearl Bailey is. And didn't want her son to date slash marry white women. I don't know. I don't know who that is. Actually, that does remind me though. There's something else that Shay Sade did that I'm gonna share with y'all. Drop the link. I will do it, but I don't want to drop the link and hear you stutter over what's going on. No, I want you to say in the chat room, what book have you read similarly? So apparently Chloe Bailey is went to Africa with it. And speaking of Africa, Shay Sade had something to say about an African woman who, I can't find it, but there was a video where, oh, wait a minute, is this it? Yeah, here it is. Okay. All right. So she'll say it better than me, but this one is interesting. And this shows the kind of interest white men have for black women in general. Now, this is a Kenyan woman, but it's really just the same. Ah, what do you mean they when we're talking about a singular book? Okay. They had nothing to discuss at the end of the story. Is this a novel? What do you mean story? GameChanger. Okay. So if I'm reading you right, and I rarely ever do, then what you're saying is that the book didn't say anything. It discussed nothing at the end of the book. Yet you thought it was good. All right. That's the Book of Obsidian, people. And these are its readers. Astrich.
To intrude, but who is the old man?
Oh, false. I pardon the intrusion. That is my husband to be.
Your what? Wait, is this a joke? Penny laugh. What kind of game are you up to? Listen, you seriously do not have to try to impress anybody, you know.
Who said I was trying to impress anybody?
Okay, I'm gonna close this too. I'm gonna close this too, Chaos, because this is just grueling, and this. Let this be a warning to those of you who wish to lie in a similar fashion. We have nothing else to discuss at the end of this conversation. GameChanger. Okay, yeah, all right. I understand. I understand. You asserted that you read a book and it was good. I asked you for details and comparisons on that book, and then your response is, I have nothing to say. You see how you sound? You see how that makes you sound, how that makes you look right now. I'm simply asking that you prove your assertion. And of course, there's that. You didn't read the book because it sucks and the author sucks.
But Tabitha, that is the white man I am getting married to in a few weeks.
What, sorry? I'm sorry, but I just had to laugh. What did you say? That old thing?
Well, my dear friend, I don't see his age. All I see is a rich, romantic white man.
Sorry, but I have to laugh again. Excuse me, but did you just say romantic?
Well, go on, Tabitha, go on. Laugh all you can. Go on, laugh. I am going to marry Kata Walsh. That's whether you laugh or you frown.
Wait, She said, "What? What's a catawash?"
When I started creating content, I started interacting with women. I noticed a trend. And this trend was young African women getting on dating websites looking for old foreign men. And the reason why they were doing that is that they felt maybe that is their ticket to getting out of a bad situation. And since I had been in that situation myself when I was younger, and unfortunately mine turned out really bad.
Rose the Blogger is a content creator I discovered a few months back. I reviewed a video where she criticized Black women for promoting colorism, featureism, and texturism, specifically showing off their light skinned, mixed biracial babies over their monoracial, fully Black children. Today, a lot of her content focuses on online dating and teaches African women how to date interracially in a safe manner. Unlike divestors, I don't really hear her say anything bad about African or Black men. I just think she highlights online and interracial dating because that's her own experience and her own personal failures. She seems to be in a happy interracial relationship now, but it did not start that way. I found the following clip I'm about to share particularly insightful.
Okay, y'all talking about her forehead and stuff. I don't know. I mean, yeah, East Africans do have that 5 head going on, but like in the case of Eritreans, Ethiopians, they make up for it in other ways.
Because she openly reveals what many of us have been noticing and saying for quite some time about the lovely ladies who seek to expand their options, most often to white men, preferably old white men. Why? Because they're hoping the white men can get them a better life. But before I get into it, let's hear what she has to say, and then I'll break it down.
Now I'm about to turn 20. I was very close to turning 20 years old. So I'm thinking this man, at that time he was 57. The son, the one who is telling me that I'm gonna be the one. He's 57. That time he was 57, and I was about to turn 20. Yes. So I'm thinking I'm very young. He's quite old, but he's a mzungu. Yeah.
Ooh.
And I'm seeing this nice house.
He's a Mzungu. He's a Mzungu. That's the opposite of Mendingo. A Mzungu is somebody who's not Mendingo. Let's listen.
The cars and everything. Yeah. And I am thinking this is my chance to Amoka.
Amoka.
This is my ticket.
Now, here's the funny thing about all of this. Hit the like button. This is where Austin Holloman is. I'm going to repeat that. This is where Austin Holloman is. Remember, he left Brazil because he said passport bros are selling you a fantasy about Brazil. Really, they prefer white men. Well, okay. So I'm going to go to Kenya. But they have like a whole language dedicated to sucking white penis. So you see this? Who's selling dreams? Who's selling dreams?
Please, the way I have suffered in my childhood, the way I have the jobs I have done. I had done so many different jobs, trying to make ends meet and trying even to help my shusho with our siblings, because we are 5. I just lost my our last born brother. Sorry. So I was like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. This is my ticket. This is God. God is answering my prayers. Yes. But I did seek counsel to somebody who I trusted, and I was thinking, well, if she tells me it's not a good idea, I might reconsider. So I went to this person. I said, there's this boss that I'm working for, and he's showing interest. He's got issues, especially with women, but he says he's gonna change. He says I'm the one who's gonna make him change. And then she said, and what did you tell him? I said, I'm gonna go. I told him, I said, I'm gonna go and think about it. She said, what are you thinking about? What is there to think about? Have you seen that mansion? Have you seen those cars that you're cleaning? Now you're gonna be cleaning. In fact, you're not gonna be cleaning. You're gonna get somebody else to be cleaning. You're gonna be the lady of the house. All that is gonna be yours. And Lynn, the problem we have as Africans, even as we get into interracial dating and interracial marriages, we think in our African mentality. For example, you get married or you start living with a man, and suddenly that becomes your house. So now for me, I was thinking, oh, this is mine. Oh, these cars, this mansion. forgetting this is not our African culture. You're not getting involved with an African.
Yeah.
So
Okay. The thing is that is Western culture as well. Woman moves in to a castle and she is now woman of the house. That's Western culture. That's how that works for their women. He don't see you that way. He don't see you that way. Listen, if a man is not looking to start a family with you, then it's just sex. That's all that's left after that.
this lady says, that is your home. Don't even think about, in fact, go and tell him. Tell him you're ready. To cut the long story short, I did say yes. I said, yes, I agree. So I spoke to this man and I said, I am going to leave. He laughed in my face. He said, you will not leave. You have nowhere to go. Don't think that you're going to live here with even a single cent. You're not living here with any money. I said, you have your daughter. I'm now about to turn 27 and I have nothing. I really would like to have a baby of my own now. This man had friends who were doctors and they decided my tube should be removed. And after that, it became almost impossible for me to conceive. I left with.
This man took away her ability to conceive just so he can hit it without having to worry about his son being raised in a crap situation. Convince her to remove her ability to conceive.
$200 in my bag. Yes, God is my witness. 10 years later. 10 years later. So now you're looking at yourself, Lynn, and you're like, look at my belly. It's empty. And money is gone. Everything is gone. The things I lost within those 10 years were my fertility, Lynn. That was gone. I lost.
She lost her fertility. She lost her youth.
The chance of experiencing life with a man who is close to my age. I didn't omoka. So I didn't omoka anyway. Lost the mansion. Yeah, I lost the mansion.
This story is heartbreaking yet revealing. Young women without parental guidance or strong leadership can easily be taken advantage of
Shay Sade,
or easily fall prey to.
Shay Sade, she has parental guidance. It was her parents, particularly her mother, who told her to do that crap. Whatever that word was, imotu, whatever that word was, came from her parents, I'm sure. They thought that this would be a good idea.
Silly schemes. Add to that the way some Africans valorize Western or white culture, or deep, unaddressed, internalized self hatred that plagues many ladies across the diaspora, and you'll see how these situations are just storybook nightmares. It's not that interracial dating is horrible per se, or that every single time a person dates out, they are in danger of being wrung out dry, but it's to be very clear about what's actually happening and what's motivating these interactions. And if it's simply about trying to take advantage or exploit someone, usually these situations don't turn out well. This is a cautionary tale for any lady who takes this thing as a game and thinks they're going to be able to scam older men, specifically old, white, successful men with resources. Older, successful men are especially hip to the game, and any serious businessman is likely going to be leaving their real assets to his grown white children or blood family, not to a black.
And there you have it. And listen, are there well-to-do black men who are going to go to places like Africa or just developing countries in the world, and do they think and take advantage of a woman's desire to actually be a Western housewife? Absolutely, absolutely. But is a black woman more likely to find a marriage-minded black man than a marriage minded white men, absolutely. Men have a desire to recreate themselves. It is more likely that if I wanted to recreate myself, then I would do so with an African woman or a black woman, that's from the diaspora that's not been westernized. If this man wanted to recreate himself, he would be in Poland or, or some Slavic nation, some developed Slavic nation. But no, he has adult kids. He's not looking to have any more kids. What's the point in marrying? He just wants pussy till he dies.
Side piece. The richer people become, the more race loyal and prejudiced they act with their resources, assets, and marital
Well, the more
connections.
conservative.
For the ladies, many times the risk far outweighs any temporary short-lived benefits. And in a society where women are always getting advice on how to scam, getting old, and more men see what you're doing. In fact, these situations end up turning out worse than prostitution. At least the prostitute gets money in an exchange for her service and then moves on. But how
Yeah,
bad is it to give
she's
your
getting
time,
possibilities.
money, resources, and
She's getting possibilities. They're dangling that carrot in front of them. She was basically sold a dream.
energy only to be sucked dry? When you find out all the person was doing was dangling a carrot in front of you the whole time. So don't get caught up in the lies of looking to any man or especially an old she mentioned in the video where she thought that God was sending him that dude. Obviously it wasn't. That was not God. God wants to actually be your savior. Christ, as in the power that created the universe and created you, who knows your purpose. He wants to be your savior, not some old white man who only sees you as a side piece and is not looking for anything serious. And while God can use people to bring blessing in your life, it will
Okay,
never
correction, Shay Shorty. He don't even see her as a side piece. He just sees her as a piece because she's really not on the side of anything. There's this assumption that men are stupid, especially wealthy men. That it's I mean, okay, the fact that he moved to Africa to settle down, to have a higher quality of life, particularly sex life. The fact that he did that really shows that he's not, how can I say this? He's not as easily manipulated as Western women would like for him to be. He's basically somebody who's escaping Western women's manipulations. Why would he do that just to fall into um, African women's manipulations? It doesn't make sense.
come at the expense of your identity, your dignity, your self respect, your box, and your purpose. That ain't God. That's definitely the devil. But, anyways, what do you think? Do you agree?
Okay, so I'm gonna cover Chrissy's videos, then I'm gonna shut down. Let's see. She chose to buy it. Yeah. Yeah, she did. Notice Austin doesn't talk about looks of these women, only that it's a great place, kind of cool, but he knows those Kenyan women are not attractive. That's why James left and went to Australia. Well, um, I will say when I think of attractive African women, Kenya doesn't come to mind. Not to say that they're ugly, but I will say that the attractive ones that we do see are probably the exception, not the norm. Now, you do have access to the exceptions and not the norm. But when I think of attractive, I think of like Ethiopian, Eritrean, South African, and Madagascar. So I do think of those places as not only being the most attractive women in Africa, but quite possibly and quite literally the most attractive women in the world. So that's how I see that. Once again, not to say Kenyan women are ugly, it's just that nothing really pops out on them to me. Now, as far as Austin Holloman goes, Austin Holloman has never really seemed to go for the hottest chick. Like, hotness was not, it never really seemed like that was a priority of his in his Passport Bro adventure. We didn't really talk about that, or at least I didn't when it was first happening. But I was looking at Kay, like, I literally thought that Kay was the fattest chick in Thailand. I really thought that. I looked, I was like, dang, that is one big Taiwanese girl. And not big, and her breast didn't even match her bigness. It was just like she had the same breast that all Asian or all Oriental women have. But the gut of a West Oakland hood booger. And then she mushed him in the face. And I'm thinking, like, okay, so looks isn't a priority. So then you have to ask yourself, what is a priority? And the answer to that question is validation. Validation is their number one priority. Sad but true. Hit the like button. Validation is what drives men like Austin. So, though she may have not been the hottest, and this is what I noticed in when I was in Asia, though she may have not been the hottest, she was the most aggressive towards him. And she was the one to boost the ego. And this comes from after a quarter century of having your ego struck by Western women in Houston. Hit that like button. So I get that it's refreshing, but you have to stop and say, whoa, 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 whoa. You're fat. You have to stop and say, whoa, whoa. And trust me, being in, going to the Philippines, they see you and they know the thing that I just said, they know. Kay knew. They see you coming. They see you coming. They like, oh, this your first time in Thailand? Like, oh, you so handsome. Me like black men. Me like black men. It's like, yes. But what about what I like? You think I didn't have a bunch of chubby Filipinas come out with? Like, whoa. Whoa. Yeah, no, goodbye. But when you need that validation, you're going to look for the one that makes you feel validated, and that's what he's going for. And once he didn't get that feeling of validation in South America, he went to Kenya, but it's really the same thing. I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not. All right. What I am going to do is I am going to play this last video from Chrissy. Or no, I'm going to read some more comments, and then I'm going to play the last video from Chrissy. All right. Oh, you're talking to somebody else there. She's a piece of tail on top. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's basically offering to upgrade her lifestyle in exchange for access. With the added caveat, it's like, dang, like, you let him take your whole womb out? Like, you must really like, okay. And if you're wondering how bad things are there in Kenya, I will say this. It's really bad. I met a Kenyan American woman who told me that she had over 20 siblings. And having shoes would be considered a luxury. But another thing that was a luxury, and this is something that they only did on holidays, was meat. So, like, that's how we knew it was a holiday, because we got to eat meat. I'm like, dang, that is down bad. So you're dealing with a white guy that lives there. He knows that. He knows that that's where you're coming from. He knows that, that for some meat, you'll suck meat to eat meat, basically. He knows that. And he's going to play into that. He knows that he's giving you a better deal than what's out there. And he leveraged that. And he took the entirety of your 20s for regular access to bologna sandwiches. Let me show you what I mean. Here's the clip. I'm glad I found this. I'm so glad that I found this. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how things get. No thanks. Skip.
For many people outside the cities, bushmeat isn't just for special occasions. It's for survival. In some remote areas, people get up to 98% of their protein from bushmeat. I'd arranged to meet a hunter and farmer called Andre. Without going hunting, Andre wouldn't have any meat to feed his wife and children.
Pay attention, fellas. Pay attention. You see this dwelling? This stick mansion with no door? Okay.
He and his friend invited me for lunch, but first we had to catch it.
Andre, what sort of animals have you caught whilst you've been a hunter?
Oui, je vais commencer par le plus gros, le buffle, le gorille, le chimpanzé, le sanglier, l'antilope et tout le reste des petits animaux.
Those small animals include monkeys and birds, one of which Andre was hoping to shoot for lunch.
This is the problem. You shoot your bird, and then you've got to find the thing in that.
Eventually, we gave up on the bird, but most of Andre's bushmeat was caught in traps. He explained that he laid them throughout the forest, and he had no control over which animals he caught in them. We soon found...
This is how he's living.
Found our lunch.
Looks like it was very beautiful.
Andre sometimes has enough animals left over to sell, but it is illegal without a license.
Do you sell them at the side of the road, or do you have people that come and buy them off you, or do you take them into town?
Il y a les femmes qui vendent la nourriture ici en ville, qui viennent.
We took the civet cat back to Andre's house to give to his wife.
Is it a good one? Are you happy when Andre brings one of these home?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you like eating the cat?
Oui,
Pourquoi?
I love it. Thank you.
Although cat wouldn't be my first choice for a Sunday roast, it was legal for Andre to eat his catch. And civet cat...
And there you go. Sitting outside a stick and mud hut, sharing cat with the family.
cat isn't endangered. But just like Pascaline, Andre didn't seem worried about killing or eating endangered gorillas and chimpanzees.
Should you really have a license to hunt?
Si je veux obtenir le permis de chasse, je serai toujours en train de vouloir chasser.
Is it illegal to...
Okay. So that's enough of that. I was just pointing that out to say that, dude. Now this is Cameroon. This is not, but you know, it's the same in Kenya. Dude is somebody's father. He's somebody's father. So for those of you who are living in a air-conditioned studio and you think you're down bad because, shout out to Coach Greg Adams, you have a popcorn ceiling. If you think that you are down bad, you are a godsend to some of these women, to women like that. They like, you know, like, you don't have to hunt cat. I'm not eating mystery meat. Bush meat means you don't know what type of animal it is. That's what that means. It means you don't know what type of animal that is. It could be possum, it could be rat, it could be cat, it could be bat. You don't know. As long as it's protein, you know, that's what you're getting. So, you know, to be able to, you are offering them something spectacular, and they are willing to offer a lot for access to that. That's why that woman was behaving the way that she was. Take a look at this. All right. This is a bunch of women in Africa with leaves on their ass and tits out. Looks like they, I don't know, baking bread or something like that. Yeah. Anything you offer women in this particular predicament is a lifestyle upgrade. It is a lifestyle upgrade. They're going to be doing that for a while. Like, they're not done. That is their job. You know how some people have jobs like at a I don't know, like at a call center or something like that, or you're a barista at Starbucks or something, and you think that your job sucks. That's their job. Tits out on a stone basin with leaves on your ass, doing something strange. So for them to think that okay, this is going to, that this white guy wants to make a wife out of me. You know, it's, come on now. Come on now. That's ridiculous. And for Austin to think that women in this particular situation is like, oh yeah, it's about your looks. Like, really? Okay. Okay, you tell yourself that. Keep going to the gym to tell yourself that. Look, come on now. That's ridiculous. So I suggest that we as men stop seeking validation from women and determine if the women is valid. Most Western women are not valid. Most Western women are not valid. But if she's beautiful, no matter, even if she is like, if I found like a true beauty, like, you know, tits out, leaves on her ass, like, you know, like, I don't know, rowing bread or whatever the hell they was doing. If I seen, I was like, ooh, dang, she bad. You know, let me upgrade you. And then, and yes, I will lowball. And everything will be spectacular to her. You know, you could pour her Sprite and call it champagne. She won't know the difference. And like, yes, this is the finest champagne there is. And then it's a glass of Sprite. And then the next day you give her 7-Up. Like, you can do. I'm cold. All right, let me get off of this because now it's going into a very dark place. Now it's going into a very dark place, and I'm gonna be honest. I kind of want to smash a leaf booty. So let me change the subject because that was very awkward. That the thoughts that went through my head. But yeah, I was like, "Ooh, I want to smash a leaf booty now," and that's just the way it is. All right. Oh, Chrissy. Okay, that's what's going on. All right, so let's do that. All right. So she said she had a video said pro black dating advice, snow bunny tactics. Nope, that's not it. It's not it. Maybe it's one of her live videos. Dang. Did I lose it? She had something about, or maybe she's listening to me now and she took it down. She does that from time to time. Let me see. Here, I'll just check in my history. Y'all hit that like button. He talking like Adam and Eve. Take off your leaf. Like, nah, leave it on. I'm a freak. But yeah, so I'm going to say that you are more appreciated. You are more appreciated in other parts of the world for that reason. You are taking them out of a life of drudgery and stick houses where their father hunts cat for a living. And every now and again, he has some leftover cat that he sells to other people for bullets so he can hunt more cat. Like that is the life that you are sparing them from, and you know it. So when you're over there, you talk like you got a big dick, and you don't go for the first ugly chick that look like Kay that come your way, because you don't have to, because things is in your favor. But I say push that advantage. Other people, they still want validation. So you're a slave to validation. It's a damn shame. It is a damn shame. All right. Where is Chrissy? Let's see. Dang, I watched a lot of videos today looking for the right one for this show. So Ray says those women are helpmates. Absolutely. They are bringing value. Women are complaining about making a plate of damn food. No, they're complaining about microwaving a plate of damn food. Yeah. Not cooking it, and damn sure not doing whatever they was doing to food. You know, like they're complaining about having to use the microwave. Imagine introducing a stove. Yeah, people talk shit about stuff. Imagine introducing a stove to women like this. You know, they sitting on top of the world, sitting on top of the world. So that's it. Just know your value to those types. No, I didn't go back that far. Dang. Yeah, she must have taken it down. She must have seen me coming. And taken it down. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, this is older than I thought. It was 6 days ago. I haven't seen this. I just seen like a couple of seconds of it, and I've seen the title. But as I look at it, it seemed like it might just be like an outtake of what we already did, and that's referring to what's that called? Wicked. So we'll see.
Fem strategy. I finally started posting over there again, and I'm doing archetype strategies and analysis. Watching that, and you want a break from the kind of that Black women want to live that is outside of struggle, is labeled unrealistic online, mostly by Black men, but by Black women too, unfortunately. And it does not matter what kind of non struggle lifestyle it is. It could be Black women who are happily single and on a decentering men journey. You know, a lot of the girls are doing that right now. It could be Black women who are happily child free, Black women who are practicing hypergamy, Black women who are living in luxury, dating interracially, etc. And it really feels like ever.
Notice that she just listed stuff that didn't benefit men. Because these are the ideals for her. Like, she's going to only promote relationships that don't benefit men, particularly Black men. Oh, she got some nice legs.
Ever since Black women, and especially unambiguous dark skinned Black women, started creating spaces for Black women that center us and our image and our desires, or spaces that elevate us in any way, there seems to be an uptick and obsession of Black people, especially, telling us what we can't do, telling us what we can't enjoy, and what is supposedly impossible for us. And we know why that is, right? It's because they don't want to lose their social justice warriors. They don't want to lose their mules. They don't want to lose their sacrificial lambs and their workhorses.
Okay, so well, no, we don't want to lose our helpmates. If that's, I mean, of course you're bastardizing the language, but you know, or the definition, but no, we don't want to lose our helpmates. You seem hell bent on making Black women non-helpmates, wondering why y'all have no value to anybody of any race.
And come up women, et cetera, et cetera. And this is also why they're still pushing the SJW self-sacrificing Black woman narrative in the media, like they did in the movie Wicked. Definitely check out my video on that if you haven't, by the way. But Black women, and especially unambiguous dark-skinned Black women, centering ourselves quite literally threatens the status quo. And a lot of people suffer from us being self first and self interested. And this is why so many people are trying to control Black women the most and convince us that we have no options. And according to them, Black women can't do nothing. We can't date up. We can't grow long hair. We can't enjoy luxury because it's elitist. We can't date or marry non Black men because absolutely none of them want us. We can't lose weight because
Nobody said that none of them wants you. We are saying, and this is what you're confirming, is that you're not proper helpmates. Therefore you are less valuable than women who are proper helpmates. That's it. That's all.
it's Eurocentric. We can't be single and child free and happy because there's supposedly no such thing as a woman who's happy without men and children. And it's like, is there anything Black women can do according to these people? Because if you listen to the internet, the only thing that is supposedly realistic for us is living a struggle life with a Black man. Basically, that I mean, that's pretty much what they're saying is the only thing that's realistic. Anything outside of that is unrealistic, or before we enjoy any kind of non struggle lifestyle, we have to do the impossible and fix the whole community first, or destroy the patriarchy and all other oppressive systems. If all oppressive systems are not destroyed, then our success isn't real or it's unrealistic. That is pretty much what these people are saying. And then when we show examples of the lifestyles that we're talking about being realistic for some of us, we're either accused of faking our lifestyles or the goalpost moves and they say, oh, well, that's just the minority of Black women. Okay, and let's go with that. It's just a minority. Fine. And there are going
Well, the statistics show that it's a overwhelming minority of Black women, but it's also overwhelming minority of any woman, because that's just the way the top 1% works. Like, if it was common, it wouldn't be considered luxurious. Like, Levi's aren't considered luxurious because everybody can afford them. Luxury by definition is rare. It is a minority of women. And what's also true is a lot of women do lie about the lifestyle. You know, they buy the clothes, they take them back. They rent the car and take it back. You know, and some of them are just, you know, like credit up to the ears. Shout out to Nelly. They got credit up to the ears. Or they got debt up to the ears. You know, just to present this luxury lifestyle, hoping that somebody will come along and attempt to continue that luxury lifestyle. So y'all remember when we covered the what's her name? The new housewife or something like that, the new trophy wife. Y'all remember we covered that, and she talked about how I make $90K, but you know, she was living with one dude because her rent was due. And then when she broke up with that dude, she went to another dude immediately after that, you know, and then that dude, they had problems and she made accusations because of those problems. Y'all remember that? Well, I mean, she was pretending to make 90K. Why was your rent due if you're making 90K? Why was your lease about to be up and you couldn't find another lease? You know, you didn't all of a sudden like, oh, my kids need a Christmas. No, it wasn't that. It was not that. You wanted to upgrade your lifestyle, but in order to do that, you wanted to present your lifestyle as already being at a certain level so a man will keep you at that level. Now, there's some reason behind that, because if a man found you in a village, you know, with your tits out and leaves on your ass, then he's not going to see the same motivation to keep you in Chanel, you know, but if you present yourself as already being in Chanel, then you might just get yourself some Chanel out of the deal. I see where you're going with that. You know, I see the logic behind that. But that's also a motivation for women to fake it.
going to be platforms for the minority of Black women who everything I mentioned earlier is realistic for. If that is not you, then go to the places that reflect your reality. Don't project that on the rest of us. And I am so not trying to be tone deaf. I'm not trying to be mean. I know a lot of people
I would put some leaves on her ass and go to. Oh, I'm dirty.
are struggling right now. I know the economy is bad or it's not the best. But if the content is not relatable because you're still struggling, stop torturing yourself by watching. Take yourself out of your misery and unsubscribe, because there are quite a bit of Black women who are thriving, who are leveling up. And it's almost like it's taboo for us to create spaces for Black women who have similar experiences, or for Black women who want to have those experiences. And it seems like these people won't be satisfied unless we come online and say that Black women have no options and will never be successful in life, and nobody outside of Pookie or Ray Ray is ever going to want us. Or unless we use our platforms to just always talk about everything horrible that's going on in the world. Oh, yeah. And some women want us to talk about swearing off men altogether because they chose poorly. To these people, promoting anything outside of struggle or destroying all oppressive systems is quote unquote selling a dream to Black women. And nobody will fully admit what I just said, but that is really what they want to hear Black women talk about in our spaces all the time. Social justice warring, struggle love, struggle life, world events, and everything going wrong in the world, and or radical feminism and the total exclusion of men. That is it. And you know what? Since that is the case, my platform will never be relatable to most Black women, and I'm okay with that. And I'll say this again for any
Well, it's not that I don't know why it would be, because are you preaching what it's like having a luxury life, or are you preaching, how black women should obtain the luxury life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Because um, those are different things. And if you're talking about like what it's like to have the luxury life, then no, it's not going to be relatable to most black women. If you talk about the desire to get a luxury life, then yeah, they all desire such a thing. But, and I'm not going to say it's impossible, but what I am going to say is it's not as easy as just deciding to swirl. And I think that that's the narrative that a lot of black men are pushing against. It's like, listen, you don't just check the swirl box and then all of a sudden, you live this luxurious life, as if 100% of white men, or even 50% of white men, are living in luxury themselves. Like, that's not realistic either. And there are a lot of quote unquote swirlers who are actually not with a guy who's putting them in the luxury life. So, but part of their image is that they are in a luxury life. So they need to swirl in order to do that. Okay, say for example, say you have a woman who's making 50K, but she goes out and she overspends on a luxury automobile, and buys some jewelry, nice dress or something like that, and she wants to pretend like she's living a luxury lifestyle. Now she gets a man who is probably making less than her, and she just parades that man around to make it appear as if she is a trophy wife. But really, they're not about that. It's not that type of party. And that's where the white man comes into play. It's like, listen, he's not rich, but he looks rich when you show him with your riches.
Black woman that is new here, this channel is not for all black women. It is a channel for black women who resonate with the content. Nobody can make a channel that is relatable to everybody in a certain demographic. So I should not be expected to be relatable to all black women. Isn't it black women who always say that black women aren't a monolith? Yeah, so black women aren't a monolith. So why are you expecting us to be exactly the same and relate to each other on everything and be talking about the same exact thing in every single space? That is unrealistic. And I noticed that other black women, especially, are extremely intolerant of black women having a variety of options, a variety of online spaces that serve different purposes. And they hate other black women who live a lifestyle that they themselves don't live. And because they don't want to live that lifestyle, or because they feel it's not accessible to them or not realistic for them, they want you to believe it's unrealistic for you too, even if it's not. And look, I am all for not selling black women a dream, but that is not what's happening over here. Unrealistic and selling black women a dream would be me saying that every black woman is going to get a millionaire or a rich man, or promising that all
I
black
thought that
women
that's
can
what
get
you were
rich
saying.
and live a soft life of leisure and luxury 24/7 and just have a perfect life with a perfect man. Totally unrealistic, which is why you've never heard me say any of that. But telling black women, hey, if you're going to date up or date your equal financially, try to make the most strategic life decisions so you can level up and
Okay, even that's unrealistic. Because a person's, I'm not going to watch this because she's really talking to her detractors, her female detractors, and so it's not what I thought it was going to be. But to tell anybody to date their financial equal or better is not the best advice, because try giving that advice to Oprah. First of all, at what stage in her economic growth would she start looking? Because, like, okay, hey, if a pretty Hooters waitress wants to date her financial equal or better, here I am. Like, it's like, but they don't do that because there's this assumption that they're always going to make more money. And of course, that's something that happens with age for most people, not necessarily women as much, but like, of course, most people, particularly men, make more money in their 30s than they did in their 20s. So for a woman, she's going to be like, okay, I'm going to wait to my 30s or even 40s to start dating. and then I'm going to ask for my financial equal or better. That's stupid. Like, hey, you can ask for your financial equal all you want when you work at Taco Bell. Please do that. Please do that. And you oh, that Home Depot chick, she can get it. Hey, you want a financial equal or better? Home Depot chick. That's reasonable, but it's not reasonable for the Home Depot chick to wait until she's, the general manager of the district managers of Home Depots, and she's twice her age and half her looks, and then say, okay, now I'm looking for those guys that wanted me when I was the hot Home Depot girl. That's stupid. That is beyond stupid. Now, I'm not going to end on that note, even though I said I was going to end on that note. What I am going to end on is I'm going to show proof that this thing that they're doing with white men is not new. They haven't just discovered WMBW relationships. This is not like AI or the iPhone. This isn't something that's new. Or contemporarily new. This is something that they have been doing for a long time with no significant growth. I'm going to repeat this. This is something that they have been doing for a long time with no significant growth. This is from the 80s. And I'm not talking about the 80s like Ice Cube and Eazy-E are from the 80s. This is from the 80s. This is from the old 80s. If you don't believe me, look at her outfit. This is something that is from the old 80s. Now watch.
So engaged to be married, but she's not satisfied with once a day. She says it should be 10 times a day.
Women with sex drive so high their men can't handle it.
And Paul, well, Paul is tired. Now, Mark is engaged to Cheryl, who is backstage and says that he admits his fiancée has a great body, but keeping up with her sexual demands is wearing him out.
Yeah.
What does she do when she comes home from work?
When she comes home from work, she'll strip down and just try to turn me on as best as she can. I get turned on, and she just goes real crazy. She just wants it right then and there.
Right. As soon as you walk in the door.
As soon as she walks in the door.
Let's meet Cheryl, and we'll find out why she's having so much trouble. Come on, Cheryl.
Oh, I thought interracial dating was like this whole taboo thing where everybody was telling you to not do it. Everybody was just so against it. They were just so against it. It was terrible. It was terrible. Black women are just encouraged to get with Pookie and they're just told to be bed wenches and blah, 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 blah. But then you show this in a racial relationship and nobody cares. And we haven't cared. We haven't cared for like 40 damn years at least. Nobody cared. Y'all didn't invent anything new. Y'all didn't. This is nothing new. Nobody cared back then. They don't care now. Look, this is a black man just in the front row clapping it up. Just happy for him. So all of this, all of that stuff really don't matter. Somebody said this is the early 90s. Okay. I'll take your word for it. But okay, so 30 years. Nobody cared back then. Nobody cares now. Like, by and large, they don't. But let's not pretend like the reason why y'all haven't had much success in this regard is because y'all haven't been trying. Because we're going to see how hard she's been trying right now.
This it at
Jenny.
home. Huh?
If anyone here has seen the movie Forrest Gump, I now live with him.
Okay, so yeah, this is the later 90s too.
Wait a minute. You're calling him Mr. Gump?
Well, he tries to act like he doesn't know what sex is all the time. And when we first met, before we got engaged, I used to turn him on. He still turns me on. And we used to have sex all the time, like 3 or 4 times a day. And as soon as we got engaged, he started treating me like his wife and the mother of his kids, and like he didn't want to have sex with me
What are you
anymore.
trying to do to turn him on? You do a lot of stuff.
Well, well, I buy a lot of sexy lingerie, and I dance.
Do you have
around.
some with you? What do you have on your chair right behind you?
This is his favorite, I think.
Where? There it is. Is that? There it is. Now that turns you on, right, Mark?
Yes, it does.
It does. So what's
Nobody's caring. Nobody's calling her mammy, race trader, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No one cares. So they haven't been getting pushback from anybody but white men.
the problem? She's a beautiful woman. She's wearing this sexy lingerie. What's the problem?
I think we have sex a lot more than we used to, or yeah, a lot more than
Can
we
we
used
ask
to.
how often you're having it now?
About once every other day right now.
Okay.
But she wants it a lot more, but certain times we have
You
a
would
lot
like to do
more.
it every day.
Right.
She kind of teased you when she came out here. Did she dance for you like that at home?
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Yes, she does.
We actually have a videotape that you brought us of a.
Yes.
This is a homemade video of Cheryl dancing for her husband at home. Watch this. This does it work?
Jenny, you do what you got to do.
You do what you got to do. What kind? Are you hearing excuses? What kind of excuses are you
Mark's
getting?
most famous excuse is, "Honey, I got gas. Can you go get the rest?"
Can't you just take something for it and just kind of?
Well, his thing is like, this is the thing. He likes to tease me. We'll be walking around, and I'll dress really nice, just like today, or something that I think he looks at as being very sexy. And I'll walk around, and he'll go, "Oh, baby, I'm gonna clean your clock tonight, and we are gonna this and that." And as soon as I'm like thinking, looking around, saying, "Hey, babe, let's go to bed. You ready to go to sleep? You want to go to bed?" And everybody's around looking. And as soon as we get in the room, he's like, "I'm just tired. Can't this wait until the morning?"
Okay. So the narrative that they're painting, I'm gonna stop right there. The narrative that they're painting that Black women haven't done this before, that this is a modern Black woman thing, is crap. They have been doing this for quite some time. Like they have been giving white guys this offer that most men can't refuse for a long time, but they have still been refusing it. So they have to ask themselves why. They do. They have to ask themselves, what's going on with that? And first of all, if ever white men started embracing this in mass, then Black women aren't going to want them the same way. They want white men because they can't have white men. So once they realize that they can have them, and once white guys start hollering at Black women at the same rate that Black men do, then that's when they'll be satisfied and they'll become actually more obnoxious. To be perfectly honest, they'll just spread their obnoxious ways to other groups of men. All right, so let's see. Notice they are silent when Queen of Kings crashed out amongst all other passport sisters that were getting arrested and beaten and divesting. I don't know about I do know about the King of Queens situation. I didn't know about the other passport sisters, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I did not know about that. But no, I don't doubt that that's a thing. I think white women would not let that happen in peace. What are you talking about? It's a white woman's show, and it was white women in the audience just clapping it up. What do you mean they're not going to let that happen? First of all, I can't really stop them. But second of all, if they won't let it happen, what do you think slavery was? It was it happening. Like, yeah, you lost me on that one, brother. You lost me on that one. All right, hold on. Let me see, because what I want to do is I want to actually look if I could find it. If Google would be so kind and I was able to find it, I'm gonna see if I can find this guy and see if he's still married to that woman. So fortunately, he has a unique name. All right, so and his ears kind of stand out. So even if he is a lot older, you'll be able to see this guy with the poppy ears. I think that's him. Oh crap! There's one like on a show called Married at First Sight. Nah, this dude is brown eyed, at least from what I could see. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say if it's that dude, but if it was, he is on Married at First Sight looking for a white woman. So like if it is this guy. All right. Anyway, let's read some more comments. White women have been gaming black women the whole time. Yeah, that's true. That's an understatement. Okay, just like they thought they would vote in their favor. Like, yeah, I already discussed that. But yeah, white women don't feel intimidated by black women. Of course not. I mean, because black women don't compete with each other, yet alone on an international scale. So, why would they feel intimidated by somebody who don't compete? Gaming black woman going for the money more than everyone else since the 1970s. I mean, they convinced them not to compete. White women tricked them into turning the civil rights movement into feminism. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they only took feminism so far, and black women took it all the way. Everyone intimidating how black women act back then, take them for everything they got. I mean, it's okay. I see what you're saying. So yeah, back then, black women were a force to be reckoned with. I mean, she was more alluring than any of the white women on the stage and in the audience. She did steal the show, and she was one of very few black women there. So they had a reason to be nervous, but now not so much. Like now, they just ruined themselves. So they were neutralized, and it's probably the white women who did it, and that's because the white women seen that they had a desire to be like them, and all they had to do was say, well, if you want to be like a white woman, all you have to do is ... and then they told them to do the exact opposite of what they are known for doing, and that is having a sense of loyalty and being a helpmate to their men. They told them not to do that, and that's how you get white men. When yeah, how is that working out for you? Oh yes, if you want to be like a white woman, you should be combative. Like, really? Okay. um Good luck with that, I guess. Kim Kardashian ruined women. You talking about like with fake injections and all that? I mean, well, it definitely introduced like this whole luxury lifestyle, and but that's society. They're gonna push that. They're just seeing her as an opportunity. Like, okay, women admire her situation. Let me use this to push this agenda. damn, she looked good. Yeah, no doubt. She has some nice titties, no booty, but she has some nice titties. But um, I don't think that butts were as big a deal back then. At least not that I remember. I mean, there was a Sir Mix-a-Lot song that kind of like really just defined blackness by our lust for gluteus maximus, which I'm not necessarily an ass man, though I like Chloe Bailey. I think she got an African dude, but though I like Chloe Bailey and what she's rocking with, I also like Kelly Stamps. It's not like the top priority for me. No fat bitches back then. Yeah, there were very few. And okay, you gotta look at what was going on back then, as it pertains to now. For example, dang it, hold on. Take the movie Friday, the first Friday in the 90s. I think that was like 99 or something like that, right? And you had Chris Tucker's character, and then you had the Janet Jackson character. First of all, the women that were lusted after were all slim. Hey, Miss Parker. When are you going to let me fuck, Miss Parker? Like that. And then there was Nia Long back when Nia Long was, she can get it long style. But yeah, that was long ago. But y'all know, Nia Long. So, like, you had that category, and then it was very clear and distinct who wasn't attractive. And that was Janet Jackson. And, she was farting. She had the fake hair, like this was an outlier of being unattractive. Being fat was obviously frowned upon back then. And you would think that women would see that and say, you know something, I don't want to be like Janet Jackson. I want to be like Nia Long. I want to be like Miss Parker. But instead, they went the opposite direction. It's a defiance disorder. They went the opposite direction with that. But we made it blatantly clear that Janet Jackson character, who I think is dead now, is not hot. And then on the next Friday, you had Baby D. And she's not even considered big by today's standard. But you had Baby D, and he was making fun. He was like, she know all the new snacks, the year 2000 snacks. She know them before they even come out. She was like, hey, you heard about that hostess? She's like, yeah, and it's good. They were fat shaming back then. That's just what we did in the 90s. We wasn't afraid to call a fat ass bitch a fat ass bitch. It was clear. We were vocal about it. This is just what it is. There's and then there was Shanae. Now, she wasn't necessarily fat, but she was overly hood, or whatever you want to call it, was overly hood. And, that was their character as well. That was made fun of, that was ridiculed in the backdrop of, Pam and Gina, who was sought after by a main character on the show, where Shanae wasn't. You had played by Jamie Foxx, you had the woman on In Living Color, Wanda. Wanda, who was an ugly woman. They had no shame in making fun of ugly women. They had no setbacks. They like, listen, this is an unattractive woman, and this is me and the rest of society laughing at those and those who wind up with such women. I'm going to show y'all something else. And I played this on Movies Night. R-E-B-N-G. Okay. I can't find it now. Let me try it again. Okay, so there's a old blaxploitation movie called Little Sister's Revenge, but maybe I'm getting the name wrong. Oh, maybe it's Black Sister's Revenge. I think that's what it is. Hold on. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. Now, this is the 70s, 1976 to be exact. Now, look at this. Look at this. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with this story, because before you were born, it was before I was born. This is the story of Emma May. Emma May thought it would be a good idea to move from Mississippi. Mississippi always been trash. She thought it would be a good idea to move from Mississippi to California. Only to find out that in California, she's a fat ass bitch and we don't eat dirt. And so, you know, all the guys are making fun of her, and you know, that's how the story went. This is what she looked like. This is what was considered fat at the time. It is a completely different definition of what's considered fat today. So instead of this is what California fat was in the 70s. This is regular now. This is medium regular. They called her Boogie Bear. They called her all kind of 70s terms, but they made it clear that she was not liked. She was not the top choice. It was blatantly clear that she was not the top choice then. And the only guy that was interested in her was Pookie, was the representation of Pookie of the time. Here, I'm going to show you some more of this, of exactly what I mean. So, this is her, and this is her cousin. Hold on. So these are the cousins. They're about to go out, and they are forced to bring her. These are the cousins. These are their boyfriends. This is what regular California women look like. So, Mississippi fat women, we never wanted y'all here ever. We're going on 50 years now. 50 years of not wanting your Mississippi asses here. Okay? Get it? Got it? Good. We don't want you. But they had to bring her along. And this guy who is the Pookie of the bunch, he decided to take them up on the offer. And they were saying, okay, no, I'm not going to do it. But he's the only one that's willing to do it. He's trying to sell him drugs right now. So this is how believe it or not, people, this is how the Black community treated its fat women back in the day. And this is what they considered to be fat women. Look at everybody else in the background. And look at her. See, now he's there shooting his shot. The only one that'll do it is Pookie. And this dude is so upset that they even suggested it, that he wants to fight. This actually happens. So yes, it is a complete, somebody said, what movie is this? This is a movie called Black Sister Revenge. I played it on movie night before. Those of you who are missing out on movie night are missing out. But yes, I played the movie in its entirety. That's what it is. So that's what Black women used to look like. Now she's considered small. She's considered skinny. It's a shame. It's a shame. Our ancestors will be rolling over in their beds because when they see what's going on today. Because they're not dead yet. 1976 is not that long ago. Like, what are you, like 70? You're 70, like, hey, wait, when do women get so fat? I was saying if earlier, if theoretically black women were a threat, they were a threat in this time. They were a threat in this time. White women never, white women, even still, even when black women are attractive, they're not really like jealous the same way. And that's because, for one, they're only 13% of the population. And two, and this is the way black men feel, if they take one of ours, we'll just take one of theirs. So white women really don't care. Like, if they see like an attractive black woman with a white man, they'll just say like, okay, that means that there's a single black man out there. Thanks. Like if they see their own brother get with a black woman, they'll ask that black woman, hey, do you have any brothers? That's just how they think. It's a whole different thing. Okay, so you were saying that's 1995. All right, 1995, and then that was the first movie Megan Good was on. Amazing how time flies. At least I think so. It was either that or East Bayou. Shaft, he's a bad mother. Shut your mouth. I was talking to OGJ Speed in movie night, and he was saying he never seen the Mac. Slick is about to give the best insults ever. Yeah, he called her all kind of boogie bears. He was like, how dare you try to hook me up with this boogie bear? And by the way, she was hyper violent too. Like, that was what the movie was about. Apparently she was just like a kung fu ninja Mississippi fat broad, like, and that's where the whole that's what took place. Like, fat women of the time was like, okay, if I can't be beautiful, I'm going to be violent, and guys will still want me because I am hypersexual, I'm easier, and I hold it down. She was the one holding it down. Like, she karate kicked a gun out of cop's hand while saying hi-ya, because that's how kung fu happened in the 90s. Hi-ya, and then he lets go of the gun like that. Anyway, so and she was on that fight the power stuff. It's all the same thing. It's watch the movie, and I'll do a review on the movie. All right, I already answered that. Let's see. You got a face only a mother could love, and she died so she couldn't have to look at it no more. Yeah, they were cold back then. They were cold with the insults back in the day. And that's because men weren't afraid to have standards. And this goes for white men. Every day. Y'all think I'm hard. Every day, Al Bundy came home with a new fat woman joke. Every day he came home with a new fat woman joke. And that was one of my favorite shows. How was your day, Al? Well, I was at the shoe store and a fat woman walked in. And then he just go on from there. Then he would just go on from there. Every time he walked in the house, he'd tell the story about about a fat woman. Fat woman was frowned upon. Now they're trying to make it the new normal. The snack food industry is. The mother asked too. Okay. Why would they? Like the women of Austin Powers. I don't know what that. You lost me. Every man loves a fat, juicy ass. No. So big and fat is two different things. You can equate that to an athlete. Some men are 240 pounds and other men are 240 pounds. But these are two completely different 240 pounds. There's a difference between like a heavyweight boxer and Homer Simpson. These are two different things. Same with ass, same with booty. But black men pretend like they don't know the difference. You see, I like it toned. I like it toned. I like it toned. Why? Because I like to bite it. And I like the way that a nice tone, yet big ass sounds when I smack it. Because fat smack sounds different than tone booty sounds. It sounds different. It does. So no, it's not a fat ass that you want, because there isn't like something that there isn't something that would stop the fat. There isn't a way that a woman will have fat just in her ass. Well, there isn't a non-surgical way that a woman will have fat just in her ass and not everywhere else. That's why you be seeing these chicks with like these ridiculously large thighs, and you can't even see their vagina even when they sitting with their legs open on the couch. You can't even like see their panties and stuff because there's so much thigh fat. I covered that with a woman on the show. Like, like that's not how, like, and then somebody's like, ooh, look at the ass on that. It's like, yeah, but look at the proportion of the ass to everything else. Look at that. I like chicks clapping ass. That is not, listen, that's not clapping ass. That is that okay. Ah, damn it. Damn it. Damn it. What they're doing is they are moving their fat in a way to where the fat is clapping the other fat buttock cheek. That's what that is. That's not ass clapping. That's something worse. That's something terrible. Y'all, the reason why they like this. We in California made it clear with movies like this that we're not going to put up with this Mississippi bullshit. That's what we made it clear. Hold on. Show y'all what I'm talking about. Show y'all the difference. I can't believe I had to show grown men this. I'm gonna show y'all the difference between tone and fat. All right. Are y'all watching? Are you learning? Are you learning? Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Get it? Got it? Good. Get it? Got it? Good. You see that? Now, some Mississippi hood dudes would say, "Oh, she ain't got no ass." Yes, she do. Yes, she do. Look at that. Look at that glue. Look at that. Look at the cusp. Look at the underneath crease of the booty. Now y'all see the difference. Now you understand the difference. Now y'all be seeing these women with the fat booties, and the booty fat, and then they just shake it, but they're really just wobbling fat around. You know, y'all see women like that all the damn time. And then you ask yourself, and then you think that that's a good thing, but it's not. It's not. That's not what the booty means. It's not supposed to be that way. I'm gonna show y'all my crush and her booty, if you could find it. Yeah. Maybe this is it. I don't know. I don't watch her stuff. I just think that she's really, really cute. All right, so y'all know who my crush is. For those of you who are new here, hit the subscribe button. It's this girl, Kelly Stamps. Now, as I stated, I don't watch her stuff. So I don't know which one of these videos will actually have a booty shot of her. Maybe this one. No, she got a... Oh, wait, here we go. Somebody said Pearl. Ha! That's not it. I don't know who told you that one. Probably Courtney Michelle, but no, that's not it. Okay. So I don't know why she's doing that with her hair. Oh, she's trying to get like an extreme before and after. Okay, where's the booty at? Dang, why is she showing somebody number on the screen? That's not cool. All right, turn around, turn around. Turn around. Turn around! God damn it! All right. Forget this chick. All right. So Haley looks good on the James Bond movie in a bikini. Yeah, Haley looks good too. I like full lips. That's what her sister has. That's what Chloe has that Haley don't. But no, it's still an attractive gene pool. Don't get me wrong on that one. And besides, Haley got like more of a good girl appeal than her sister. But I know which I want to see. This is a perfect example of nice booty and figure and all of the goodies. Maybe she'll show it. I don't really watch her either. I don't like look at YouTube chicks just for their looks and stuff, you know. Yeah, she did. Okay, so perfect. And it's a short. So we could close on a short. Yep. The woman that's causing all types of controversy, like all types of controversy. And I don't know why. That's why I didn't cover it. But yeah, this one right here. Don't. Boobies. Don't. Ah, there we go. You see that? You don't have to be fat. You don't have to be full of fat. By the way, the only reason why she's eating like that and you know maintaining that figure is because she's young. The only reason why she can eat like that, I seen her just like squirt whipped cream in her mouth and stuff, you know. But which is good. Hey, enjoy your youth, you know. But yeah, do yeah. You see that? You see that? Yep. Yep. And then I see all these video titles like the real reason that men like her. Listen, it doesn't require a rocket surgeon or a brain scientist. It doesn't require, you know, that you be a genius to realize, like, is it not obvious? Titties, booties, and food. Like, I mean, what? I haven't seen any of her stuff besides this. Like, but I mean, it's obvious. It's like titties, booty, and food. Like, we're it's not complicated. So everybody's out overthinking this, bro. It's like, okay, yes, that is the trifecta. We're not complicated creatures. Slap your mama in the ingredients. If my mama was her ass, I would. All right, let's see some more comments. Oh, I already read that one. Wasn't die another day. Okay. Most black men will still go for Megan Good. She is a good example. Absolutely. You see, Megan Good is a missed opportunity for a lot of guys who had a chance but blew it, including her ex-husband Devon Franklin. She's definitely an Angela Bassett, a younger Angela Bassett, is what I equate Megan Good to. The way she handled the divorce without turning it into a scandal is spectacular. The way that she stood by Jonathan Majors and mitigating the damage to his career is spectacular. You know, she's a true ride or die chick. I like the movies that she produced more than I like the movies that she acted in. And maybe I'll cover it, but I do want to say that her performance in this latest Tyler Perry movie wasn't her fault. I know that she received some criticism, but it wasn't her fault because the character was written in such a way that she probably couldn't grasp onto it. And I don't think anybody could, because it was very like, you know, she went from hot to cold for no damn reason at all. Like, she went from church girl to slut for no damn reason at all. Like, it was weird. She went to like super devoted wife to adulteress like it. So I could see her having a like, this character doesn't make sense because the person doesn't exist in real life. And that's because Tyler Perry sucks as a human being. It's not Megan Good. What do I mean by Tyler Perry sucks as a human being? I'm glad y'all asked GameChanger. What do GameChanger mean by Tyler Perry sucks as a human being? His last movie flopped. It flopped. It flopped. It was trash. It was shit. It was shitty, floppy trash. This is his attempt to do the whole Hidden Figures thing with Taraji P, you know, by showing a black bitch brigade and you know, during World War II and stuff like that. Listen to me good, Tyler Perry. Listen and his shows are terrible. Absolutely. Listen to me good, Tyler Perry. The only reason that we want to see some World War II is I want to see machine gun shooting, grenades grenading, bombs bombing, paratroopers trooping, and Nazis getting killed. That is what I want to see. I don't want to see bitches handling mail. I want to see Private Ryan getting saved. That's what I want to see. Motherfucker. Who in the hell makes a World War II movie about mail? You're stupid. You dumb bastard. That I didn't even see the movie. But the whole concept is what we're supposed to watch it because it's black women? No, it's fucking male. It's fucking male. If you do not show some bombs, shout out to Spike Lee for making a movie, Miracle at Santa Ana. Now that was some good movie watching. If you're gonna make a World War II, it better be a war in the motherfucker, or else it's just stupid. That was just stupid. Thinking that people other than black women are just so interested in Black Girl Rocks that they're going to watch some crap like that. That was just dumb. And it flopped. And it flopped on Netflix because there wasn't any titties. At least the last time you made a crappy movie, you threw some titties in it for me? Like, what in the hell? Now, how do you know that it wasn't on titties if you haven't seen the movie? Because it's a woman's empowerment movie, and those tend to not have titties. I can't think of a scene where you have a bunch of World War II male bitches and a titty pops out. So I'm not going to watch it because I know that there's an impossibility of titties in it, and I'm willing to bet anybody who's seen the movie, it was no titties in it. But that Kelly Rowland movie, I'm pretty sure. No, I seen it, and it did have titties in it, and they were just thrown in arbitrarily, like I like it. God damn it! Stop making shit movies. Stop making shit movies. Stop making shit TV series. Stop making shit. You see, Tyler Perry is what's called a yield guy. He's a yield guy, and that means you make high quantity of something, and if you get a few hits out of it, like Temptation or Acrimony or something like that, then people just tend to ignore all the crap that you made outside of that. That is a yield person who focuses on quantity over quality. Now, Spike Lee, he focuses on quality. He might not always hit his mark, but it is a focus. Like his movies have been classic, like Malcolm X. He only makes a movie when he has a movie to make. And you don't see him putting out crappy TV shows. That is the difference between those people. That's the difference between those brothers. Same with Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler, he goes hard or he goes home. Why? Because he is from the Bay Area, California. Shout out to the town. That is why he is a better human being. That's why. Somebody says movies used to show titties. Now they just are G-rated, bringing back R. Okay. I think there's a number of reasons why there's less titties in movies, and I agree. There is a titty deficit in movies, and in addition to that, is far too many dicks in them now. Far too many dicks. I'm gonna say what y'all thinking. I done seen too many dicks in movies. It pisses me off. Sitting down watching, minding my own business, watching Game of Thrones or some shit, and somebody come out with their dick out. Like what the hell? Now, granted, Game of Thrones isn't afraid to show some titties, but you ruin the whole titties with dicks. Less dicks, more tits. Now, the reason why, in my theory, that they are showing less titties in movies is because the greatest titty scene that I remember in recent history um, happening was on the movie Swordfish with Halle Berry. If you're like me and you're in my age range, you've been waiting to see those titties for quite some time. And then in that scene, first of all, they looked better with the bra on, but they looked good with the bra off. In that scene where she just popped the titties out, it was like, oh crap. In addition to being a great movie, because it had machine guns and explosions and shit, in addition to being a great movie, that just made it like ridiculously greater. Like, ooh, titties. I like titties. Now, and that changed the game. Showing those titties really affected the market in a way that is permanent. Like it can't be changed. It affected the market in an inchangeable way. And I'm going to explain why. Because you see, she got $10 million to reveal her titties. On top of how much money she got just for the regular acting that she did in that movie, she got $10 million to display those titties right before she hit the wall. She got $10 million. And then when she showed them again, she got an Oscar. Now, what did that do to all the up and coming starlets out there who would show titties just to get their foot in the door, just to get their tits in the door? What did that do? That made them want to wait. They say, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold my titties in like Halle Berry, and then one day I will get that $10 million payout, $5 million per tit. That is the new goal. That's why these young up and comings, are afraid to show their titties. That's why. Because they feel that they're going to miss out on that $10 million payout. I don't know the industry, but well enough, but I do know how some bras think. And that is what they're thinking. They're withholding it. That's why it's less titties out there, because they want more per tit. It's unfortunate, but true. Like Deadpool. I don't remember any titties in Deadpool. And like 1/3 people are gay in movies. Yeah, it's gotten too gay. See, shit like this is why Trump is president. Not because people like him or think he's particularly competent. It's because he grabs life by the pussy. Like, what the fuck? Nobody wants to deal with this crap. I don't think I've seen the last season. But yeah, I understand that they're trying to appeal to a new demographic of people, but what you're really doing is you're showing an old demographic of people that don't like looking at another man's dick something that they don't want to see. And don't get me wrong, like, I watch porn, but in porn, I'm so into what's going on that I ignore the dick. But that's not true when they just show like regular dick that's not fucking a baddie. Like it's different. Anyway, I gotta go. Because watching her make those tacos made me want to eat tacos. So I'm gonna do that. Now, imagine a chick like that in Kenya with leaves on her ass. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody that contributed. Oh, hold on, let me check. I'd like to thank my members, managers and moderators, those who are listening silently, and those who participate in the chat. Hit that like button on your way out. And this is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.